types of foods.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe you can tell me about mm, which one is your favorite or your recommendations for me.
Well, since where I live, it's on the border with Mexico. There's a strong influence, um, food-wise, right? So there are many Mexican restaurants here. People on the border of
Okay.
Texas, California, New Mexico, and Arizona, they all have this connection with
I'm
Mexico.
trying to find Texas.
So it's the second biggest state, so it shouldn't be hard to see it. So if you see Mexico, it's above Mexico.
Oh, yes, I got it. Right. So, Texas. And what's the capital of Texas?
Austin.
Okay. Austin is the capital, which is in the middle, right? I can see.
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell me what is Corpus Christi? What is it?
Yeah, it's a city, but it's on the Gulf. Yeah, so it's near the water.
And what's the name of your city? Please tell me.
Brownsville.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's in South Texas. It's on the border. So many people come here also to go
So
to the
close
beach
to.
or go to Mexico because
I
it's on
can
the
see
border.
one place. Okay, and I can see one place. It's McAllen. Are you
McAllen,
close to
yeah.
this place?
Uh,
Yeah,
Not too close.
McAllen.
It might be like maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. I can also see close to the border Rio Grande City. Are you
Mm.
in this?
No, I'm in Brownsville.
Okay. So from McAllen, are you in the
Hmm.
west or in the east? Where?
South.
Oh, from McAllen, you're in the. Oh, it's kind of hard to find. Okay, I'll try my best later.
It's
And
on the
okay,
border.
okay. Well, tell me.
So yeah, so
Okay.
because I
Well, I'm
can,
close to border, but
it's
I
on the
can't see
border. It's
that.
not close to it, on the border. As in, if I drive from where I live to the
Oh,
border, it's going to be maybe 20 minutes or so.
okay, okay,
Alright, so let's see. Here
okay.
we have the map.
No problem.
Okay, so all right, so
And
here there's
okay.
Texas. Brownsville is here.
I see.
That's right on the border.
Okay,
Yeah. And then
okay. Is it a statue?
basics. What statue?
I just saw a pic on the map where you clicked.
Mm, I'm not sure. Yeah, but yeah, here. Well, yeah, there. Yeah, it looks like a statue.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's where that's
okay,
where I
okay,
live.
okay.
That's on the border.
Okay, Liz. Now I can see. Well, thank you so much. And now I want to talk about the food cultures of foods.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe you can tell me about mm, which one is your favorite or your recommendations for me.
Well, since where I live, it's on the border with Mexico. There's a strong influence, um, food wise, right? So there are many Mexican restaurants here. People on the border of
Okay.
Texas, California, New Mexico, and Arizona, they all have this connection with Mexico, right? Because we're on the border. So many of the people on the border, they can speak Spanish and English because of that closeness, right? There are some people here who only speak Spanish because they don't need to use English in some
Oh,
aspects of
living in Texas.
California, Texas, and New Mexico and Arizona. Yeah, or also I guess also you could say Florida. Many people in those areas they may not need to use English because of there's a big community of Spanish speakers,
Okay.
which also the food is influenced by
So,
by that. So you have a lot of Mexican food in the
okay.
border areas.
So, you mean they manage everything speaking in Spanish, even they are
Hmm.
living in Mexico, in the south of Mexico, being close to Mexico.
You,
Well, this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
influence, I think, right? Influence
Hmm.
of
Right,
Mexico.
because it's a border. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so of course you have more opportunities if you can speak both English and Spanish, but some people who live here don't speak English. And because of that, yeah,
Okay, okay,
it's a
okay.
different culture by the border. As you go more north in the
Okay,
United States, then that's different, right? Because as you go more north, then people only speak English. But on the border
right.
areas, they speak both Spanish and English. And that's why Spanish is
Because the influence
also a major
falls
language.
down.
Hmm. Yeah, because of the influence
Yeah,
of Mexico.
influence falls down, that's why.
Hmm.
Okay. So, tell me about the food. Which one is your favorite of your
Well, I do
region
like
or
well, I
your
do like
city?
Mexican food because it's around, right? So and I grew up eating it. I don't really like a lot of
Okay,
fast food uh, because it doesn't tend to be too healthy. But I prefer home cooked food. Yeah, and around here, because of that influence, there's a lot of beans, rice, um, avocados, and people, like maybe like making guacamole. There's a lot of tortillas, which which um, which are things that have been influenced by the Mexican culture.
okay, okay. Well, Liz, I want to ask you that it's a kind of an interesting question. So
Mhm.
I want to ask that when you were grown up, I mean, of course you are grown up still,
When
but
I was growing up.
when you started to recall things and events, what
Hmm.
was the food that your parents introduced to you and you can still remember?
Mm, well, like I mentioned, yeah,
Mexican or
because of
Chinese?
yeah, a lot of that, yeah, was Mexican food. Um, because of that
Okay,
influence. Of course, yeah, there was also like, fast food and so on, but I don't. My parents didn't buy it as much because it wasn't exactly the healthiest option.
so any veg food, the name of the veg food that you can tell me?
Then name of what?
Vegetarian sample of vegetarian food
Vegetarian?
in your area.
Not a
Yeah.
well, when I was younger, there was not a lot of vegetarian options. I was vegetarian, so it was a bit difficult for me to to have vegetarian food. I would have to ask them to not put meat or for them to only or I was only limited to like cheese uh, options or bean or rice options because most people eat meat, right? And they incorporate meat into the meals. So I just had to say, don't put meat. And sometimes it comes with meat, so okay, I couldn't eat that, so, or I would have to have another option. But it's difficult because a lot of the meat is in the food.
Okay,
Like for example, I might say, okay, so I want instead of meat, okay, let's say rice, like um, or not rice, maybe beans. But some of the beans, how they're cooked is with meat. So it's hard to kind of just take it
okay,
out. So there's not a lot of options. Are you vegetarian?
okay. And what about rice? How often do you eat rice? How often do you eat rice?
Not often, not very often.
Okay, rarely. Have you visited
Yeah,
India
rarely.
so far or ever in your life so far?
No, I haven't visited India. It's a bit far from the United States. I haven't made it there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here a lot of options of vegetarian foods and
Mhm.
non-vegetarian. So it just depends on you. Which one would you like to have?
Mhm.
Even you can have vegetarian food forever.
Well, when I was growing up, it was
Yeah.
difficult to find vegetarian food, but now it's not as difficult. There are many more options. Many restaurants sell a vegetarian option, or you can ask for them to make it, in a certain way. But it's still not as many options as maybe other places. But there are more options now.
Well, in last few decades, it's good that several restaurants in the
Mhm.
uh, several parts of the world, several
Mhm.
restaurants from, I mean, having different cuisines, right?
Mhm.
They became the regular part of the world.
Mhm.
For example,
Mhm.
Western cuisine
Mhm.
introduced in East, Eastern cuisine in West, right? Northern in South,
Mhm.
Southern in North. So it's
Mhm.
like all the cuisines is everywhere, almost everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yes,
So
yeah.
it doesn't matter, and you don't need to be dependent on one cuisine or your cultural cuisine, right?
Right. Yeah,
So
that's good.
basically, you have now several options for your food.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and there are also Indian restaurants here, but I think the Indian restaurants tend to be from, oh, I can't remember what part of India, but because they tend to be a bit more spicy. Because India is a big country,
Okay.
so not all parts are going to be spicy, but that's how people view Indian food in the United States. Like, oh, it's going to be
In
spicy, and
several parts. In,
mhm, mhm,
yeah, in several parts of India, it's spicy.
mhm. Yeah, but not all. Yeah, because India is huge. It's a huge country.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
the seventh largest country in the world.
Mhm,
So that's why this is the influence. And
mhm.
have you ever tried an Indian dish, Liz?
Yes, but like I said, the ones um that are in other parts of the world, which tend to be more like spicy. But yeah, it was nice meeting you. I hope you
Bye
have
bye,
a
Liz.